Okay, so let's jump right in with an idea that's, well, it's pretty counterintuitive. In a world that's just obsessed with doing something all the time, what if the most powerful move is to do nothing at all? We're going to explore that hidden strategic advantage of just waiting.
I mean, think about it. I don't trust animals that don't blink. That really hits on something deep, doesn't it? It captures this kind of primal human suspicion. When something or someone is too calm, too still, it just feels off. It can feel unnatural, maybe even a little predatory. And it really makes you aware of your own buzzing, frantic energy.
So that's the big question we're really tackling here. Why? Why does someone else's total composure make us feel so unsettled? In this explainer, we're going to break that feeling down and show you the incredible strategic power that's actually hiding right inside that stillness.
All right, so to really get why we see that silence as a threat, we've got to look at two totally opposite ways of thinking. It's basically a showdown between raw instinct and real discipline. Reacting versus just watching.
Okay, so on one side, you've got what we can call the monkey mindset. This is that jumpy, anxious part of us that's always got to be moving, making noise, reacting to everything. It's all fueled by panic. And then you've got the snake mindset. Totally different. This is all about being calm, still, and silent on purpose. The monkey burns through energy like crazy, while the snake saves it up.
And this is where the whole thing just flips on its head. Panic wastes energy. Suddenly, being calm isn't about being passive or weak, it's about being efficient. Panic, that's the real weakness. It's just a messy, wasteful way to burn through your most important resource, your energy. So stillness becomes this strategic way to keep your powder dry.
Okay, so saving energy is great, but how does that actually give you an edge in the real world? Well, this is where doing nothing stops being just waiting around and turns into a seriously powerful strategy.
And the whole idea behind this strategy, it doesn't start with some brilliant move. Nope. It starts with just noticing something. Noticing a universal trap that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us fall into, especially when things get intense. And this quote just nails it, right? Impatience is self-sabotage dressed as confidence. You know the feeling. The pressure is on, and you feel like you have to do something right now to look confident and in control. But what's really happening? A lot of the time, it's just our anxiety taking over, pushing us to jump the gun and maybe mess things up before we even know what's going on. So this is the big mental shift you have to make. Waiting strategically isn't about sitting on your hands. It's an active thing. You're watching, you're listening, you're soaking up information like a sponge. You're just letting the chaos play out a little, and you're letting everyone else make that first move, which, so often, is the wrong one.
And here's the real magic behind it. Your patience creates this vacuum. And you know what hates a vacuum? Other people's impatience. They just can't help but rush in to fill it. And when they do, they show you everything. Their game plan, what they're afraid of, or they're making mistakes, all while you're just sitting back, saving your strength.
Man, and this right here, this is the masterclass. Most outcomes are decided before I move. Think about that. It's saying that the big, dramatic final move, that's actually the least important part. The real win happens in the setup, in the watching, the positioning, the waiting for the perfect moment. By the time you finally make your move, the game might already be over. Okay, but let's be real for a second. There's an obvious question here, right? A big objection. Is all this strategic waiting stuff just a fancy way of saying you're too scared to do anything?
And look, that's a totally fair question. How can you tell the difference? Am I being a patient genius, or am I just frozen by fear? That line can feel super blurry sometimes, but figuring out which side you're on, that's everything.
It really all boils down to your motivation. Why are you not acting? Avoidance, that's driven by fear. You're just focused on the scary thing right in front of you. And because of that, you're giving up control. But discipline, that's different. That's about choosing your moment. You're focused on the best possible result. And by waiting, you're the one who stays in the driver's seat.
And yeah, figuring this out about yourself is not easy. It takes some serious, honest self-awareness. And that's where this quote comes in. Growth is uncomfortable. That process of really looking at yourself and learning to choose strategy over fear, it's going to feel a little weird, a little uncomfortable. And you know what? That's probably how you know you're doing it right. Okay, so that's the theory. Sounds good, right? But how do you actually use this stuff when things are hitting the fan? Let's walk through a really simple framework for putting it into practice.
All right, scenario 1. Imagine this. The project is a total dumpster fire. Everyone around you is freaking out, and the pressure is on to just do something, anything. That's your monkey mindset screaming, go, go, go.
But the snake mindset? It says, wait, just for a second, let the chaos swirl, let everybody else make their panic-driven mistakes. That little pause you take, that's what gives you the space to see what the actual problem is, instead of just reacting to all the loud, scary noise.
Okay, here's another one, and we've all been there. You're in a super tense meeting or maybe a really tough conversation, and there's that awkward silence. Your first instinct, your gut reaction, is to just fill it, right? To jump in, defend yourself, say something.
The disciplined move, though, is to think of your words as tools. They're valuable, they're precise. And before you use one of those tools, you ask yourself a dead simple question. Are the words I'm about to say actually going to make this situation better? And if the answer isn't a loud, clear yes, then saying nothing is your best play. Silence is the move.
Which kind of brings us to this really powerful final thought on strategy. Mistakes arrive on their own. I mean, that's just the ultimate expression of confidence in being patient, isn't it? You don't have to go out and force people to mess up. You just have to be calm and ready for when they do. Because they will.
So after all this talk about psychology and strategy, if we boil it all down, what's the one thing you really need to take away from all of this?
It's this, simple as that. It's about valuing thinking over just frantic activity. It's a total shift from trying to make a ton of moves to focusing all your energy on making the one right move. You save up all your power for the moment that actually counts.
And so that leaves us with one last question for you to think about. The next time you're in a tough spot and you feel that pressure building, that gut instinct to just react, you have to ask yourself, am I going to be the monkey or am I going to be the snake? Are you going to burn your energy on panic or are you going to find your strength by waiting?